Welcome to Market Matters. I'm Nadia Hassan together with Khoo, Chuang. We're just giggling just because we heard that song just a while ago. Essentially, I can't feel my face without with you. The Weekend. Go check it out. It's stuck in our heads. But what's not stuck in our heads? Hong Leong Bank Bhd down about 0.29% to 13 ringgit and 70 cent. What happened was at lunchtime they announced their first quarter results. 8% drop in net profit, lower net interest income. They said they had bad loan allowance. They had higher OPEX, which is really funny considering weren't they the ones who did a nice little handshake?
The second management staff reduction scheme in the last 4 years. So, I mean, this is basically a financial services sector malaise, isn't it? Everybody's kind of laid off staff the last couple of years, from Standard Chartered, MBSB to RHB to CIMB. To, you know, of course, Hong Leong and as well as RHB.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not even like a local problem, like you were saying. It's a global problem. Every time I go on, like,
Deutsche has cut staff.
Exactly. Everybody has
cut
cut staff. So I suppose when you saw that it was higher OPEX, obviously the MSS has not taken place yet, so maybe we'll see it.
No, it's not captured in this quarter. But of course, as you say, 8% drop in net profit. The reason was of course attributed to lower net interest income. And it's very simple. Nobody's borrowing any money, right?
Yes, exactly.
Nobody's buying cars, nobody's buying properties. And it's not as much consumption spending as before. So clearly, it's a very pessimistic economy that we're in right now.
And on the other side of the coin, if you're looking at the investment bank side, come on, you've seen the number of IPOs this year. There's about 9. There's only like one more due as far as I can see before the end of the year. And to be fair, that person who's listing, I think he's very, very, very brave. And the fact is, you don't see all of this. And the big ones that came, Suncon, Malakoff, they go to the other banks.
Kind of ironclad, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And as well as the bond market has been pretty much dead. It's only been in the last 2 weeks we've seen about 16 billion ringgit in bond deals being done. But I mean, even that side of the business, Hong Leong is pretty invisible in. So
yeah, exactly. So the thing is, when you're looking at the financial sector, let's say for your portfolio, right? Would Hong Leong sit in that, or Hong Leong Industries, or because you remember the Hong Leong Group's this ginormous mass, and it just depends on which mass you want to pinch.
Well, it depends on how you, and I hate to take the shine of Hong Leong right now, but if you look at Maybank has been reporting a higher annual profits for the last 5 years straight, right? And they are trading at just a shade over 11 times earnings. And they look very much a steal at this point in time, and they are the country's biggest bank. So if they're going through these depressed valuations, imagine what it's like for the smaller players.
Exactly, and they don't do staff cuts, do they? I can't remember.
I haven't actually seen one in Maybank.
Yeah, neither have I. When we were looking through the archives, we didn't see a cut for them. They managed to maintain staff and yet keep their valuations. But I think that's maybe due to the sheer amorphous size of the entity.
Yeah, I mean, Maybank's a machine. It just keeps on going, but it is a very well-run bank. Not saying that Hong Leong isn't, but you know, the smaller players might get buffeted by the turbulence that comes along.
Well, CEO Tan Khong Koon, he actually said that the outlook for the banking industry remains highly challenging. I personally think he's just setting down people softly. You saw external headwinds, regulatory environments. Market forces, I think, is the biggest one that you should underline and bold, because I think that's the biggest issue. The only thing I saw when I was breaking down their stuff, global markets did well, but that was because of Forex. We were just mentioning about Forex and Daibochi.
And they've also got a joint venture in China, which is, of course, going through all the world of pain that China itself is going through.
Exactly. So. But just to sort of wrap it up for you, Hong Leong Bank announced its one quarter results, 8% drop in net profit. According to them, it was due to lower net interest income. They saw a bad loan allowance and higher operating expenses. But now that they've announced their MSS, maybe that won't be an issue going forward. CEO thinks it's still going to be very, very tough. But given that what we all see, I think that's pretty much a given. But moving on to our broker's call today, moving on to another thing, big company. We're talking about Grand Bhd of Plantations, essentially IOI Corp. Flat at 0.48% today, but down at 4 ringgit and 15. We have two analyst reports, TA Securities, UOB Kay Hian. So here's the funny thing, right? TA Securities has a sell, and their target price is 413. UOB Kay Hian has a hold, and their target price is 365.
So, and they last traded at
415.
415.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I mean, I read UOB Kay Hian. They sounded optimistic on some things. Basically, they said that, it was within expectations. They said they had a good downstream. Actually, it was the downstream that saved them. Yeah. And that's what they liked. But UOB did keep saying that, we still believe that it's not, don't really believe in the story, aiming and hawing, actually.
Well, you see, the thing is that the jobs of the analyst is pretty hard, because you can't tell where the ringgit currency is going to be, because a lot of the losses this year, this quarter, and don't forget, this is the second quarterly loss for IOI in the last 3 quarters. Okay? Yes. They saw a loss as well in the last quarter of last year, I think. 854 million ringgit was due to the depreciation in the ringgit. So if you're an analyst trying to forecast the results going forward, where's the ringgit going to go? Is it going to go to 5? Is it going to correct back to 3.6? What's it going to do, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I
A
don't...
whole bunch of assumptions that you don't even know.
Actually, I do. I have to concur with you there. It is tough to kind of judge right now because a lot of people themselves don't know where it's actually going to go. And you are right. The thing that you pointed out was a lot of it was due to Forex loss, 853. In fact, if you stripped all of that off, it actually jumped about 337. So again, you know, when we were talking about Daibochi, that's where the Forex gained for them, you know, because of that. This one, it worked in the reverse.
Correct.
So
and the other thing is as well, the you know, on the supply side, we've seen that at the October, in fact, at the October palm oil
Yes.
inventory levels, it is the new all-time high at 2.83 million metric tons, right?
Yeah.
Higher than everybody's expectations and consensus forecast. Kananga said it was at 2.63, consensus at 2.72. So there's a whole bunch of inventory sitting there, not being utilized, and hopefully Indonesian biodiesel demand is going to come in and save the day a little bit, but it's not going to put too much of a dent there.
I think it's still going to be very tough for a plantation person. TA definitely thinks that the stock is fully valued. That's why they're not there. I mean, that's the sell. That's the reason for the sell behind them. But they do think that the CPO price will actually normalize over the next few quarters, average about 2,700. I don't know. At this point, I think it's a little bit, it's not really moving all over the place, but you still don't know whether it's going to end up or down. I don't know. What's your faith in? Do you have faith in plantation companies?
Well, I don't know because, you know, crude CPO prices have an uncomfortable and kind of like an unhealthy relationship with crude oil prices, right? So crude oil prices are pretty challenged. So then are CPO prices. And if you don't see a very strong outlook for crude oil, and you know, right now West Texas is somewhere around about $41 a barrel, you would have to struggle to see a kind of positive outlook for CPO.
Well, we'll have to see how that love affair kind of actually pans out. But just to bring it all home, the fact is IOI is our broker's call for today. This company has been rated mostly, I saw across the board, it's mostly holds or it's mostly, well, like TA is sell. Most of them are quite happy on the fact that the downstream has actually done quite well. Their margins actually have been quite impressive. But never mind that, the fact is they actually slipped into a loss because of Forex, and yet still the analysts are not, they haven't been sold yet. I still think they're holding on to see how CPO prices sort of go up. But that's all for our show today. If you actually want more on the news, go over to theedgemarkets.com. Or in fact, you can pick up a physical copy of the papers. I'm Nadia Hassan. He's Khoo Chuang. We're gonna go and play I Can't Feel My Face Without With You after this. Good night.